When I just launched the Vogue, we're suddenly part of the global fashion community. And even though I had edited Elle China, Marie Claire, Hong Kong, Be International Hong Kong, I just didn't think I understood the fashion industry enough to do the job at Vogue China. So I started, when I started, I spent the first few years really learning a lot beyond what I had known already. And because that was necessary to understand the brand's partners so that we knew how to work with them and also how to present them to the Chinese consumers back then. Now, because everybody is trying to do business in China, because Chinese make up anywhere between 30 to 50% of the global consumption. So they really need to know how to grab the attention of Chinese consumers. It's also because the market has changed so much. From before, Chinese market was a simple market whereby you just put a big logo to say we're successful. You can get the attention. To today. It's a very crowded market and brands need to stand out. So that requires more understanding of the market, the culture, and the consumer behavior. So they needed someone to guide them. And thanks to all my efforts spent learning about them, so I'm probably the contact these days for the fashion brands and luxury brands when they want to expand further in China. So, yeah.
Well, you have spent so much time learning about the Western culture and fashion and trying to understand their culture. Do you think Western companies need to spend more time understanding China? What's the top tip you give to them?
Now that most brands have realized they really need to take China more seriously culturally after a few incidents, and they all have put a lot of effort in China, but China is a rapidly evolving market. So I'm sort of sympathetic to the international brands who want to expand in China because they want to understand the country, but they're so far away. And even for us who are at the front line in China every day, every minute on social media, digital platform, interacting with our consumers, we find it hard to follow sometimes. For example, if I go on a holiday for 2-3 weeks, you go back, you find a lot of new things happening. So I'm sort of sympathetic to them, but it is a big country. It is a big country with a big population, with consumers of a wide variety of nature and level of sophistication. So a lot of the time, this discussion is based on the brand strategy, long term and short term. What's the most effective way to do it that would help them to accomplish short-term targets while still contributing to the long-term strategy. This is what I find most interesting.
Can you give us a sense of the impact of social media and how it can really affect and change the scene and environment in the fashion industry in China?
Social media, popular culture, especially now, the millennials generation have become such an important consumption power that what influenced them is really through social media, through popular culture. So you really need to understand what's going on in youth popular culture in order to understand the young consumers. And that is shifting every day.
So, Angelica, what do companies get wrong when it comes to engaging millennials that you have got so right with Vogue China?
I am taking on a course in New York about sustainable fashion, so I'm taking it very seriously. But I have to say that people have to have gone beyond that basic needs in life, such as they have enough food to eat, and once they have their first wardrobe of clothes and basically their first house to live in, before they care about the finer details of life, such as our environment, such as the future of the planet. such as the future of our children. So I think in China, there's the top tier of a lot of the population who are more sophisticated and educated and discerning, and they realize how important the issue is. But I feel in China is still at the beginning stage of understanding a sustainable issue. No, I feel and China is still at the beginning of understanding the importance of sustainability. So as far as we are concerned, we are looking at the issue, and we want to put out some projects that would draw more attention to this issue from the fashion consumers.
Do you think Beijing or Shanghai will ever be as highly regarded as Paris, London, Milan in terms of their influence on global fashion?
I mean, at the moment, still, relatively speaking, the Chinese is still a consumption market, with the fashion from Milan, Paris, even London, and probably New York. They are still sort of the creative capital when it comes to fashion. It's one thing to put out, release, present fashion, new collections, new ideas, new products. Is another thing to work on, explain that to different market, different consumers. I feel that the fashion, let's say fashion weeks in Beijing and Shanghai and many cities in China, they have a mixed role. They have a role of presenting a lot of the fashion brands that you see in different global cities to China, and also they have their own self-grown creativity to present. So it's not really one layer anymore. But yes, it's also a very crowded scene in Shanghai, in Beijing. So you really need to spend time to plow through a lot of the presentations in order to identify the really good and creative and original brands.
And how do you keep Vogue China modern and really relevant to the Chinese customer today?
Yes, the 14 years of Vogue China has been a story of constant innovation and evolution. Now we talk about Vogue China is not one magazine. We have three magazine titles, IPs. We have Vogue, obviously, and we have Vogue Me, which we launched 3-4 years ago, targeting the millennials generation. Then we have Vogue Film, which is combining entertainment with fashion. And the three titles, we have a readership of 1.8 million people. And then we have the digital and social media platforms that have a combined 43 million followers. So now we are talking about a Vogue China world of all these combined. So it's no longer about a monthly magazine. It's about every day, every minute, we interact with our readers. We talk about fashion. We also learn from our readers and followers. We also, based on the formation with the three IPs and the digital platforms, we also extended our reach through a lot of crossover collaborations with a wider range of partners. Of course, the fashion brands are still our core partners, but we also go slightly beyond that, all along the theme of educating the wider range of readers with the attitudes that Vogue inject into all our content.
Angelica, the numbers sound absolutely staggering to us here in Australia. It's hard to comprehend, really.
Yes, even me myself, I've got 6 million followers. So when people talk about KOLs, and I was saying, well, yes, it's in China, everything is on a big scale, yes.
A big scale indeed. Well, exciting times ahead for Vogue China. Thanks so much for talking to us tonight, Angelica.
Thank you very much.